Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Armory Insights: when time becomes a test. Nothing lasts forever in this world, except memories and true feelings. Even the deepest love will one day be tested by time. And for Jungkook and Taehyung, that test came when they both had to carry out their national duties, military service. The separation was not just about separate bodies, but about small habits that could no longer be shared. About nights that used to be filled with laughter on the phone, now replaced by long silences. About uncertainty: will everything be the same when they return? But before all that happened, there was a moment that not many people know about. A night before departure. Jungkook came quietly. No camera, no witnesses, just two hearts saying goodbye to each other without many words. In that hug, there might have been a million messages that were not said. Maybe Jungkook wanted to say, "Wait for me," and Taehyung responded with a hug that said, "I'll always be here." And after Taehyung left, Jungkook's world became silent again. He tried to smile in public, doing promotions and solo activities, but sometimes his eyes looked empty, like someone who was lost in the crowd. In his interview, he said, "I feel lonely lately." The sentence was simple, but to those who know this story, it said more than it seemed. When Jungkook sang the song "Hate You," his expression was full of suppressed pain. And everyone knew it wasn't hatred, but a longing that was so deep that it hurt. On the other hand, Taehyung wrote a letter to ARMY before he left, but between the lines of the letter, it felt like there was someone who was secretly addressed. Not just fans, but someone he knew would read with their hearts, not just their eyes. Time passed. Seasons changed. But every trace they left for each other never faded. Jungkook still listened to Taehyung's songs. He played them live, inserting the lyrics into his own songs. And when fans asked, "Do you miss him?" he just smiled a little and lowered his head. Sometimes love doesn't need an answer. Sometimes longing is too pure to explain. In the middle of the night, fans see Jungkook online at the same hours as usual, the hours when he used to call Taehyung. The hours where silence becomes prayer. And at almost the same time, Taehyung's Weverse account is active. As if the two are still connected in a space that no one can reach. And the world seems to be waiting. Waiting for the day when they sit side by side again, not on stage, but as two humans who have each gone through their own storms. Maybe they will look more mature, calmer, but anyone who pays attention will know, their gazes remain the same. A gaze full of stories, full of warmth, full of feelings that never really go away. Because true love does not ask to always be together. It only asks for one thing: loyalty to the feelings that have been planted together. And Taekook has proven that even though they walk their respective paths, their hearts still walk in the same direction. When the heart speaks in silence. Days pass by. The world keeps moving, but for Jungkook, time feels slower. Every step he takes is colored by the shadows of the past, from Taehyung's calm smile to the laughter that once filled the empty spaces in his life. In a live broadcast, a fan asked him what song meant the most to him lately. Jungkook paused for a moment, then mentioned a familiar song title, a ballad they once listened to together. Not a trending song, but one that held memories. He didn't explain why he chose it. But the look in his eyes answered more than 1,000 words. Meanwhile, Taehyung, behind the fence of the military barracks, stared at the night sky. The same sky, the same stars, but it felt even further away without someone by his side. In his personal journal that had never been published, he wrote one short but moving sentence. "Some feelings can't be lost, they only change into prayers." And that prayer never failed to find its way home. One day, a small rumor spread among fans. Jungkook was seen at a place known to be Taehyung's favorite. No official schedule, no promotional activities. Just a quiet visit, as if wanting to feel the footsteps of someone they were waiting for again. Armies began to realize a pattern. A beautiful silent pattern, the songs played, the rhythmic online time, the words left in the live broadcast. Everything was like part of a secret language that only two hearts that missed each other understood. And then that day came. The long-awaited time. Taehyung finished his assignment, and the day of his return became a moment awaited by millions of people. But for Jungkook, that day was about one thing, a reunion that didn't need the spotlight of the cameras. There was no grand welcome, no fanfare. Just two pairs of eyes that finally looked at each other again, in a meaningful silence. Jungkook stood a little straighter, and Taehyung looked a little calmer, but when they approached each other, everything changed to the way it used to be. A hug. Short but deep. A smile. Tired but warm. And a whisper that maybe only they knew, I'm here. I'm back. Back but not the same. The days after Taehyung's return were filled with schedules, greetings, and smiles for the public. But for Jungkook and Taehyung, the return was not just a return to the entertainment world. It was a process of rediscovering the rhythm that had been lost. They did not rush to perform together. There was no special statement. Just slow steps towards the togetherness they once had. Behind the scenes, they met in silence. Not in a practice room, not in a studio, but in a place far from the spotlight. A small cafe on the corner of the city, a place they used to frequent. Nothing had changed in that place except the two of them. A little more mature, a little more careful. But when they sat down opposite each other, the smiles appeared again. Sincere. Without the need to explain anything. I thought you would change, Taehyung said quietly. Jungkook just shook his head slowly. I changed. But my feelings remain. Time never erases, only teaches the meaning of enduring. They didn't talk much about the past. There was no need. All they had was now, and now was enough. Jungkook began writing a new song, and without much ado he invited Taehyung to listen to it. In the song there were no names, no explicit stories. But each verse was like a letter that was never sent. Taehyung listened with teary eyes. You wrote this while I was gone? Jungkook nodded. Every night. Little by little. Like writing a diary to someone I always miss. ARMY also feels something has changed. Their broadcasts, which usually felt formal, are now interspersed with glances that can only be explained by memories. On variety shows, when the two are in the same frame, the aura between them feels different. Warmer, deeper, like two people who have found their way back to each other. Not because there was no other choice, but because they never wanted to go too far. They never mention each other's names excessively. There's no need. Because longing doesn't need a big declaration. The most sincere love is one that is felt even when it's not said. And the world knows they're back, not as a story, but as proof. Proof that love kept in silence can overcome anything, distance, time, even doubt. That loyalty is not just about staying by someone's side, but still believing in feelings, even when you have to walk alone. And that night, as Taehyung sat in front of the piano and Jungkook sang his new song, there was only one word they shared after the last note stopped. Thank you for staying here.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day.